Bitcoin failed to make new all-time highs over the weekend, but fear not, as sentiment is continuing to be strong. Also, money's continuing to flow in. More money is being spent from Bitcoin native companies, including miners, to influence the presidential election. Now, you might be asking, why is Bitcoin down? We have some potential answers for you. We're also going to talk about which sectors we're most bullish on. Rob and I have different takes on this, and I've identified two projects that are sub $100 million market cap in this specific sector that could potentially make you a lot of money. We're going to talk about that. Also, doubles in price. What is behind the move? We're going to take a look at the markets, and also what the European Central Bank and now the Minnesota Fed has said about Bitcoin. And could this be a threat to the future of BTC? We'll have that discussion and much, much more in today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content. Unlike other channels, they take old, boring, stale information, repackage that whole thing up in a fun and sexy way. You know what? Final pullback. It's the final pullback.
That is probably going to happen. I said this, even though I went 70K on my price. Thought it was going to be a bullish weekend. You know, we talked about this, right? We talked about a retest of the trend line, which is right at 65K. We're still at 67.3. But, you know, right here, here's the chart we talked about, and not that trend line. But we talked about this exact chart and how a breakout and how actually we would want a retest to give traders some confidence, right? And so are we going to get a full retest of this trend line to 65.1? Potentially. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. I'm a buyer there. It'll be interesting to see how price reacts to that level. We throw on our volume range profile. Lot of buying and selling happening between the 66.1 and 68.3 level. We can obviously assume that 68 level was a lot of selling as the price started to dip. But, you know, we had our price predictions on Monday, and it saddens me to say, but Robin was correct because the rules are you cannot go over.
Whoever's the closest.
Price is right rules. We've always had it.
I feel like we just randomly.
No, you feel like you don't feel like anything. I'm telling you, these are the rules.
I don't like winning because I'm so far off. What is the price today?
67.
67. Yeah, I mean, Ashley was still closest. I mean, she did go over, but I don't know.
These are the rules. I don't make them. I mean, I did make them.
You did make the rules. You adjusted the rules, right?
I did not adjust. The rules are the rules.
Rocco,
if you don't want the victory, bro, it's fine. You don't want to win?
Hasn't the rules been that, you know, hey, what do you think the price is going to be? You know, whoever's the closest. And then all of a sudden, it's like, whoever's the closest without going over.
It's a flip-flopper.
You know, it's like.
It's okay. Change the rules depending on what is convenient.
Say the price is right, bro. Just
now, if it was
who's closest to the right price?
I'm the closer one. If it was 80,000, I'm the closer one because, you know, it's between the ratio between the two and divide by 3. Yeah. It's okay.
If you know, if you're trading, who's in the most profit or loss?
That's Italian.
It's not like you get liquidated here. It's like, you know, who's closest to realizing their target.
These are the rules. You don't like them? Don't play.
I just don't like it because I'm at 64,000.
Don't play.
I'm so
don't play
far off.
Then don't play.
Far off. I can't. I
play.
can't comfortably take that victory. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take the victory for you. Now, you might be wondering, why did Bitcoin go down? Well, this is from Defiant. Something interesting. I think there's so much clutter in the markets, right? So many different signals are flashing at one given time. I think investors are kind of in limbo. They're like, oh my God, we're risk on. The S&P's at an all-time high. And then we look over here and the yields are up on the treasury, which typically means that we're headed into a recession or economic uncertainty. Then you look at this side and you say, oh, wow, gold and silver are up. And then you look at this side and say, wow, the dollar's down. So it means risk on should go up. No one knows what the hell's going on. And so you have a market that's open 24/7. And so, you know, here's the article headline: crypto markets erase weekend gains as rising treasury yields dampen risk assets. We're also 2 weeks away from the presidential election. I think a lot of people are still uncertain. I think they see one candidate as being more pro markets, more on the crypto side, than the other candidate. And so I still believe that heading into November 5th, we're going to see a lot of volatility. We're going to see people trying to front run who's going to win. And we're already kind of seeing it now. Bitcoin's price is still above $67,000. So we'll see if Donald Trump wins on November 5th or November 6th when they announce it. I think the markets are going to rally, especially the cryptocurrency markets are going to absolutely rally. If Kamala wins, I think there'll be a slight sell-off, and then people will realize, look, at the end of the day, whoever's up there in president, it's not a dictatorship. It's not a communism, like a communist government. You have to go through checks and balances. So even if they wanted to change something or do something drastic to where it could affect people's portfolios, it's going to take a vote in Congress. And we know those things take forever, and especially if you have a divided Congress, whereas the presidential winner, their party does not control both House and the Senate. I think people are going to be like, okay, we're fine. Little bit of a sell-off. Markets will bounce back. So I think there's still a lot of indecision happening. And again, you got to remember, the crypto markets are available 24/7. So when something happens over the weekend, or people read headlines, or usually when you get the bad news, it usually drops Friday after the markets close, so people forget about it heading into the weekend. Well, guess what? The people that don't forget, there's only one asset class they can trade, which is crypto. So pretty interesting. Another kind of headline here. This is from franknez.com. Bitcoin options ETF now mean massive cash flow. Now, Bitwise kind of talked about this. Jeff Park, who's the head of Alpha Strategies, suggested that the market could become wild following the SEC's approval of NASDAQ's proposal to list BlackRock's IBIT options. For the love of God, with the freaking ads on these websites. I know, Brave browser, but something happened to my Brave browser. I can't use it. He remarked that since Bitcoin cannot be diluted by creating more units, the potential for options ETFs could be unbelievably fantastic. He goes on to explain, quote, "This marks the first time the financial sector will see a regulated leverage on a perpetual commodity that is genuinely supply constrained. It's likely to get chaotic. In such situations, regulated markets might pause. We've seen this with GameStop. We saw it with AMC. We've seen it with some other stocks where if they go over a certain percentage of gains or losses, the trading is halted. A lot of people had issue with this when Robinhood halted trading on GameStop, but it happened across the board on the New York Stock Exchange as well. But with Bitcoin, you can't really do that, right? It's not part of the financial sector as far as, stocks. And so it'll be interesting to see, even though they might halt the options trading or the ETF trading, Bitcoin's price will continue to fluctuate because at the end of the day, the spot markets are not going to abide by what the SEC is going to do and whether they put stop gaps in place. So I agree with Jeff here. It's going to get pretty interesting and potentially chaotic. However, the unique aspect of Bitcoin is the existence of a parallel decentralized market that cannot be shut down, unlike what happened with GameStop. This will likely intensify the situation significantly. It's going to be incredibly exciting. So that got approved, not only on the NASDAQ, but the NYSE as well. And so could we see increased volatility for BTC? Potentially, it's going to be exciting. Before we move forward, I do want to give a big thank you to today's channel sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by CAMS Blue Wire Technology. If you run a business, you want to maximize your networking, IT, and your cybersecurity, there's one company we believe you should call, and that is CAMS Blue Wire Tech. Visit bluewiretech.com. That website link is about to pop on your screen, or click the link in the description of this video. So big shout out to CAMS. But what are your thoughts on where the markets are? The Bitcoin, they talked about people not knowing what the hell's going on. The treasury yield's going up, gold and silver's at an all-time high, but the stock market's also at an all-time high, and then this thing is down, and then they were saying, it's painful, man. Look, some people, I tried it, especially when it comes to macro, right? There's so many indicators. There's so many things you look out for to try to understand which way the market's going. And there's so much interwoven. It it could really like, especially when things just don't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense that X is happening and at the same time Y is
I
happening.
think you're taking into too many factors, right? And I
what we
think
do, baby.
at the end of the day,
Break it down for me.
at the end of the day, it's very simple, and I think I talk about it at least once a week. And it's post halving. There's supply and demand ratio. Only so much Bitcoin being mined. Half of the daily amount of Bitcoin that we had prior to the halving. So 450 Bitcoin per day is mined, down from 900. And you look at companies like MicroStrategy who just keep buying nonstop. You look at the ETFs that keep accumulating, and it's not even the ETFs that are, the ETFs at face value just represent traders, right? Investors. And you see the flows going in, and discounted here is the fact that also BlackRock and other companies are also taking a position on Bitcoin as well. At the end of the day, just to boil it all down, there is institutions, big money in whales. I don't know if you could find it, but the whale wallet activity on Bitcoin is reaching an all-time high. Oh, there's a giant amount of smart money, big money, the whales that are accumulating Bitcoin. And so we're going to reach this inflection point where there's just not enough to go around, and it's going to create a demand or price shock that's going to push the price upward. And so the cycle's not broken. The price just ran pretty hot and heavy early, right? You could say that Bitcoin got overbought early with the ETF. I mean, nobody's discounting the fact that we saw Bitcoin go from 40,000 on the at the approval, or 45,000 at the approval of the ETF, and now we're around 70,000 almost. We did hit an all-time high, and this was back in February, which came way earlier than we were expecting the price to break all-time highs. So I think that it was just overbought early, and so now the price is just catching up to the market value. And I think the market value is spot on. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, hey, where will the price of Bitcoin be post-halving in October 2024? If you would have asked me a year ago, I'd probably be like, oh, testing all-time highs, right? That's where the cycle is. So I think everything's right on par. And I think you were just looking a little too much into the nuances of everyday indicators, right? Whether it's the Fed or institutions. And it just think about it, man. We are in the right spot. This is the we're on the launch pad, right? We're all systems go. We're good for launch. And so now it's just the countdown, right? And the countdown is 10, 9, 8, 7. And it's at that point, right? We're at the end of October. We know that we're going to get a big rally. You still expect new all-time highs by the end of the month, correct?
By the end of October, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we're still on point. And I just came in and I was like, hey, it's the final countdown, right? Final countdown before we take off.
That's a great song, by the way.
It is a good song.
By Europe?
But yeah. And so I think that this is the final pullback before we take off. And so, which kind of leads us to, the theme of today's show, which is, what are we buying? Because if this is the final moment, or the last, say, week before Bitcoin is off to new all-time highs, you expect altcoins to dramatically increase in value as well, because we know once Bitcoin rallies, and especially when it broke all-time highs, I mean, we saw what happened back in February, 70 cent Cardano. Everything is pretty much 2x from where it is now in price, at least in the altcoins, right? Or your favorite ones. Except a couple exceptions, but for the most part, altcoins performed very well early this year. And that was right at the same time that Bitcoin broke all-time highs. So if you think that Bitcoin's going to break all-time highs again by the end of the month, which I believe, you believe, then rest assured that altcoins are going to see some dramatic increases within the next couple weeks as well. And so what are we buying, right? It's the time to buy. Like, I don't know, man. It's consolidated enough. The breakout is coming. Altcoins are about to make people a lot of damn money. And if you sit on the sidelines and wait for Bitcoin to get to 80,000 and then decide, you know what, now's a good time.
I'm not buying crypto.
I'm
not buying crypto. I'm buying one specific stock.
What are you buying?
McDonald's.
I already know where. Yeah, who didn't see
Dude making French fries.
Open it up.
No, they already made it.
Tight.
You know, when I first saw this, like the very first video, I was like, AI is getting really good.
Never touches
Like,
the human
yeah,
hand.
I know it's real.
Nice and
After
full.
about 700 videos on my social media stream, I was like, oh, this is actually
Turn it up.
real. It's actually
Robin, is it you know that meme of like when crypto's down and those memes of like crypto people going to work at McDonald's? Is it a coincidence that he launched the World Liberty Fi token and then a week later he's working at McDonald's? All I'm saying?
You
That's
know,
cool.
I'll just say the very first thing I thought of when I realized this was real was the fact that RFK is campaigning on this Make
Healthy?
America Healthy Again, and this whole like fast food is poison. And
Well, you know why
bad
he
for you.
did this, right?
I know that RFK is all like, "What are you doing?
Well, he
We're
did
trying to make America healthy."
he did this because Kamala said she worked
I
at
know,
McDonald's.
I know why he did it. Obviously, Kamala was campaigning on the fact that she came from a middle class family, worked a job at McDonald's. Well, yet there's no proof of her working at McDonald's.
There's also
Some
rumors.
say she hasn't even worked there at
There's
all.
also rumors that Trump permanently fixed the ice cream machine.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. A lot of good memes.
He
came
put
from
in an
this.
executive order to service.
I have signed the executive order. Anyways, all right. Moving on to
The
a
best
little bit more
fries,
serious.
The more crispier, the best fry you ever had, the more expensive.
fries ever. Perfect
Ever.
salt. Anyways, he was so proud when he handed people the bag. He's like, I made it myself.
Go with it. $5,000, thank you.
All right. Did you see this? Bro, they're just okay. So rising prices, Bitcoin prices, may threaten social stability, warns the European Central Bank. So economists at the ECB have raised concerns about Bitcoin's transformation from a payment system to an investment asset. They argue that this trend could exacerbate wealth inequality, leading to societal instability and challenges to democracy. To mitigate these risks, the authors advocate for price controls on Bitcoin and urge for legislative measures against its rising value. You might be saying, well, some economists at the European Central Bank, right? Not a big deal. Well, Robin, the Federal Reserve Bank of Minnesota said the same thing. Titled Unique Implementation of Permanent Primary Deficits, AKA continuing to borrow money you don't have or you can't ever pay back in full. And Bitcoin is standing in the way of that. This is from the abstract in this post they put out. A legal prohibition against Bitcoin can restore unique implementation of permanent primary deficits, and so can a tax on Bitcoin at the rate of whatever hell that formula they did. And then in this segment, unique implementation when Bitcoin is illegal, when government stock is the only risk-free security that is traded. We can take this formula everywhere and focus on the differential equation for policies that are admissible on the domain. They're flat out here saying Bitcoin is a threat to the way that we've been governing, which is borrowing money, inflating the freaking currency, inflating away people's savings, making things much more expensive, only benefiting the few people at the top, right? Who wins when there's inflation? People that are in debt, millions and billions of dollars in debt, and large companies. Companies like Amazon, like Walmart, right? As inflation goes higher, guess what? Your mom and pop stores, right? The average entrepreneur who starts a business, they're wiped out. And that workforce, guess what? They're going to now have to go work for a large corporation like Amazon for less money. And so they gobble up a lot of market share. So this was interesting, you know, saying the quiet part out loud. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Of course, it threatens the system, right? And you know, back to what you're saying, you know, you print money to pay off debts. That's what we do, right? And then also we print money for political narratives, right? Hey, we gotta protect the right for Israel to defend itself. So here's $500 billion. You know, if you lump in, you know, we're right around $500 billion for the money that's been sent to Ukraine alone. And you know, if you go back to the big financial crisis of 2008, it was this giant thing that passed at the stroke of midnight that came through Congress to pass a bill to bail out the banks for $1 trillion. $1 trillion is this giant number, right? And we've sent that alone in the course of 2 years to Ukraine alone. You can say like, hey, there's a just cause, whatever, right? Defend itself, invade, whatever the narrative is. It doesn't really matter. The fact is we're giving out money we don't have. There's no allotted fund that goes to foreign aid, and you can also lump in, Israel in there as well, and whatever other countries are, receiving financial aid. The list is pretty damn long. It's not; those are just the two top line items. But I mean, we're just printing money. It's crazy, man. And it's just escalating. And so Bitcoin, if you think about it, hey, if the government's going to use Bitcoin, if we're going to issue Bitcoin, this is going to replace fiat in any way. It can't be manipulated by the government as far as printing. You can't go print more Bitcoin. You can't say, hey, if we took fiat out of it and replaced it with Bitcoin, how could the U.S. send Bitcoin to Israel or Ukraine without printing it, right? Or without actually owning it? And so, of course, it breaks the ideology of the crooked system that we're in. So, no surprise there. Shows you that
if this doesn't motivate you, like if this doesn't tell you you're in the right place, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
You literally have the Federal Bank of Minnesota coming out and saying, yeah, if Bitcoin succeeds, we're kind of screwed. We can't print money. We can't dilute the currency.
Think about a bank. You go in and take a loan on a bank. You go to take a loan out, small business loan, whatever. Just name a loan, right? Say $200,000. The bank, when they issue a loan, most of the time, they don't actually borrow it from the Fed. They just issue it out, right? They create it themselves. Most people think that a lot of money printing comes directly from the Fed. And actually, it comes from the banks. That's why you see inflation rise when the inflation or when the interest rates are lower, right? Because now they're incentivizing borrowing, and that borrowing comes from the banks, essentially. Now, there's a lot of different areas that printing comes from and inflation comes from, but one of the sectors is the private sector, the banks and the central banks. And so if you're going to lend out $200,000, back to the exact same analogy earlier, like, hey, you can give Ukraine $500 billion and you just printed it because you don't have it. But a bank can't do that if it's in the form of Bitcoin, right? They can't say, hey, here's a loan, here's $200,000 worth of Bitcoin, here's 7 Bitcoin. They can't do that because they need to own it to give it to you, right? I think, Rocco, you were going to say something?
No, I was saying that it looks funny, all the formula, the mathematic formula, very complicated to say that everything sucks, pretty much. Whatever people on the government, they don't need a formula to find out that you go to buy grocery and $100 doesn't buy anything else now. You need 200. You don't need all the formula.
There's a formula for that, Rocco. Relax, okay?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure there is.
Do you know that, guys, the U.S. government is literally about to become a pyramid scheme. The amount of tax revenue we bring in soon will not meet the amount of interest we have to pay back to people who buy U.S. treasuries. So guess what? The new money that they make from these issued bonds and notes and T-bills, that money is going to go pay the older investors. Pyramid scheme. New money pays old money. It's what Bernie Madoff went to jail for a very, very long time. And so if you're ever uncertain about whether you're in the right place at the right time, fear not. With that being said, let's jump into the markets. And then we're going to talk about what are some of our favorite sectors to help you make money. I'm excited to share my Go ahead, Rob.
That's right. So $67,113 is where we're at, down from 68. And so a little pullback.
We were rallying, not to cut you off, but we were rallying yesterday.
Yeah.
And we were at over like 69.2. And I was like, all right, here we go. I'm about to be right. And then, nope.
Yeah. So you see here, this is on the 1 week. And so you see that, we were making some really good headway over to 70K. And then lo and behold, in the last 10 hours, that big pullback. So a little disappointing if you were expecting the 70K. I'm not surprised. I know on Friday's show, we were talking about prices and I was like, hey, you know what? I think we'll 64, 65, I think is is something I think is more likely. But I was also hopeful that we were going to get up to that 70K. I was hoping I was going to be wrong, but I don't know. Just the vibe in the market was, I don't know. Anyways, let's take a look. What we got in the markets today as far as the biggest gainers. Cosmos up 5%, up 8% on the week. And then you got some meme coins, Jupiter, Helium, all up 3%, but not too much in the green here. And then if you look at the 1 week, ApeCoin up 100%. I know we're going to talk a little bit more about ApeCoin here in a little bit, but Dogecoin also performing very well. I know Dogecoin was catching a lot of headlines at the end of the week.
14 cents.
Yeah, take a look at this. And so up from 11 cents. So even though Bitcoin is retraced a little bit, Dogecoin is performing very, very well. And so you even go back to the 1 month. I mean, look at this, up from 10 cents. So just 2 weeks ago, you had a 10 cents on Doge, and currently at 14 cents. So almost up 50% in certain time windows, but I don't know. I mean, are you excited about Doge? You think that this thing could rally more than it has
I
already?
think Doge this cycle gets to over $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna,
The previous all time I was like 60
70
cents. 70 cents.
70 cents,
Yeah. The top was the SNL with Elon
SNL.
Musk.
Yeah.
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 But I don't know. I think Dogecoin is going to perform very well. I think if anyone gets big headlines from institutions from a meme coin, it's going to be Doge. I think versus like Shiba Inu, for example. And so I would not fade Doge. If you have a meme coin kind of portfolio, I think it's a pretty safe bet when it comes to meme coins. And I think that the upside is pretty strong there on Doge. So, and then taking a look at the some of the ones that drew down. So Dogwoof Hat down 7%, Ordi down 6%, and then Ondo as well down. But taking a look at what's down for the week, BitTensor, MakerDAO, and Wormhole. So a lot of red in the market.
Where's Sui at? Where's Sui? Go down.
Sui's down 10%
$2.
on the week at $2, down 5%. How much will this pull back? I still think
I was hoping to get a pullback to like that $1.80.
Yeah, I mean,
I wanted to add.
a month ago it was at $1.45, and so $1.80. We've been there a few times over the last month, so I don't know. I think we're just kind of sitting here. I'm just excited about Bitcoin's price movement. I do believe we'll be over 70K by the end of the month. I do think we'll break all-time highs, and I think that altcoins will perform very handsomely as well. So.
Okay. All right. So the title of today's show was, which cryptocurrency sector? Maybe what are some coins within that sector that you're bullish on? We each have one. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I can go first. It doesn't matter.
All right.
So this weekend,
Okay.
I decided to do it.
What'd you do?
I downloaded Off the Grid. I decided to play it. I know we were talking about it. And my narrative was, hey, you know what? It's a AAA game at first. Then it has an NFT and crypto ecosystem. They have the gun token. So if you play the game, it is in early stages or pre-release or beta. I'm not exactly sure what terminology they use, but not yet fully operational, right? You can go in and play the game works, right? You can play the game, but it's in early stages pre-release. So right now, the NFTs, you can't sell them. The marketplace isn't active just yet, but you can start curing experience. You can start unlocking items, but the game itself is good. The game itself is really polished, and you know what? The thing that caught my attention more than anything else is when you pull up, well, first of all, a couple things to take away here. But first of all, you go to YouTube, you type in Off the Grid, and the top videos here, you have Tim the Tatman, which is one of the largest streamers on YouTube in video games, period. We got a friend of the channel, Crypto Stash, as well. So you're getting 110,000 views on these videos. You have 500,000 views
Did a
on.
ninja play too?
So yeah, and then you have Iceman Isaac. I watched this yesterday. So he's a pretty big streamer as well. Dr. Disrespect. And so a lot of people or a lot of the big names are playing it. And some of these names, like this guy, Iceman Isaac, for example, he's not getting paid on this. It's not a paid promotion. It's just, he just wanted to play the game. So larger streams are just simply just downloading the game and just getting in and playing it, giving their thoughts. And their thoughts from the major content creators are that the game is good and they like it. And so Battle Royale, Extraction, a mix of the two, actually. And for that, it is literally competing against Call of Duty and Fortnite, and it's there. It's not, it may be one day. No, it's literally competing. It's taking market share, or at least users from that sector. And so for me, I think that this is a breakthrough in the gaming sector, right? And I know that, it's not a blockchain game, but it has a crypto ecosystem, a marketplace. And so kind of cool thing about it was that you can drop into a battle royale, and then you can find some high tier loot, for example, and then you extract it. And so the way it works is that once you find the loot, it's like a rare skin, it's a gun, whatever it is. And then they have different rarity levels. You can find some really rare stuff. And then you have to remove it from the game, right? You have to go to a certain station and take it out. But anyways, you take that and you can either dress your character up or you can sell it. And you can sell it for cash. And so I know that we've always brainstormed this idea of like, hey, but now you can play a game, you can find a badass gun, you can pull it out of the game, and then you can go sell it for money. And so this free-to-play gaming model has now been flipped on its head. It went from, hey, free-to-play, but then pay us a bunch of money for all your skins, and then that's how we make money. And so at the end of the day, the user itself was always paying money, right? There was no incentive there ever. Now it's free to play and free to make money. And so you're rewarding the top tier players, and then that money goes back into the ecosystem, which then they can use to develop the game. And then, I went down, I downloaded the game. And at the time, the very first screen was a skin package or weapon package from Ninja, which is arguably the largest streamer when it comes to Fortnite and probably one of the largest streamers, period. He's always had like endorsements from like Red Bull. Yeah, he's about as big as it comes in the streaming gaming area. And so yeah, he had his own package there as well. And so obviously he's getting paid for it, but it just shows you this is touching every single of the largest creators there is. Dr. Disrespect, Tim the Tap Man, Ninja.
So do you think this one game could spark is that what you're saying? It could spark a run on like gaming tokens?
I'll say this. This game will probably be bigger than Call of Duty's Warzone.
Really?
Yeah. It will be bigger than Apex Legends, which is, I think, the most comparable game. So Apex Legends, Battle Royale, it's like futuristic, futuristic combat. So you got like laser weapons and like little, super jumps and things like that. And so this game kind of has that Warzone feel where it's like modern combat, with like machine guns, but it gives you a lot of that flexibility that you get with like a futuristic game. So it's like that cyberpunk, style game where it's, further into the future, but it's still like machine guns and SMGs and things like that. And so I think that this is going to be just a very successful game, period. I genuinely believe that it's going to be around for years. And I think that it's going to be bigger than Apex Legends. I think it's arguably going to be better than Warzone. Warzone is kind of falling flat lately. And will it get as big as Fortnite? That I'm not quite sure. Because Fortnite really is tailored to kids, and the kids, I think that share of the pie is pretty big. And so Minecraft, Fortnite, I think just because of how many like kids under the age of 13 are playing those games, this doesn't seem like a game tailored for them. But then at the same time, you never know. And then the game itself is kind of cool. Just a couple little insights. you drop in and so the players in the game, the theme is that they've cut their arms and legs off surgically, and then they replace it with cybernetic limbs. And then you can swap these limbs out. You can buy them, you can earn them, and you can find them in game. And you take the limbs and they give you like superpowers, like you get some like shoot missiles or something out of your arms, or you get like super speed. Anyways, you can rip people's legs off that in the game, like you can shoot them and then they, like injure them or whatever, knock them,
Harvest their organs,
and then you just rip their legs off and pop them on. You're like, oh, I like your legs, and you just pull them off, and then you
I'm
play
gonna try
the
that. I'm gonna try that one day.
ripping off someone's legs.
Yeah, we tried that before.
You know what? I like your legs.
It's all.
But yeah. So, anyways, I don't want to go too far into because this is crypto, but I just wanted to give you a perspective from a gamer. Say that this, one has the interest of the biggest streamers, and they're playing it. And I played it. It runs very smooth. There was no issues as far as quality. It checks every single box.
Now let me ask you this question. Once that marketplace is live,
it's gonna.
What do you think it's gonna be able to do for the Avalanche network?
I don't know. I mean, just whatever massive amount of transactions means, that's what it is. And you can look no further than Solana as a great example of when the market gets a massive amount of transactions, throughputs, users.
Look at ICP.
ICP still hasn't even had that.
Well, it's had that Bob.fun.
Yeah, but that's just the flash in the pan.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Bob.fun is still just Bob.fun on ICP was just the crypto degen ecosystem, right? When you look at the 200 million people that are going to be playing a game that are actively going to be extracting marketplace items, and they're like, oh, this is worth money. It's not like they are incentivized to spend money. They're just going to have money in their hands. And, then there's just the people that are, that don't want to put in the work, that are like, hey, you know what? Or they want to move up quickly in the ranks.
I'll just buy.
And so
them.
they just buy. Yeah. And so,
which are all transactions that are going to settle,
dude,
on the Avalanche.
And not even to mention, if you don't even buy it, even if you don't purchase it, you can sell an item, keep the gun token, and then go buy something else. So say you have 2 helmets, right? 2 rare helmets, same exact ones. You're like, I already have that one. You can sell it. Even if you don't want to realize the profits and take the cash, you can just keep the gun token and then go buy something else. Those are all transactions. So I can sell that helmet and then I can go buy someone else's sword or whatever it is. And then, so anyways, it's just a massive amount of transactions. And so I'll say this, I don't think that there'll be another one of these games. I think this was going to be a one-off. So I'm not saying that this is breaking down the door for other Web3 games to enter in the next, within the next year, because these studios take so long to build these games out. It takes 3-4 years. But I do think that this is going to kickstart the big Web3 movement into NFTs and marketplace. And who knows, maybe the franchises that are already like a custom name. Think about this. If you're Warzone, you're Call of Duty, and you just see a massive amount of revenue going into off the grid. First of all, they have the users. People are playing on it. But let's just say they 10x the profits of Call of Duty, and they're wildly popular. Don't you think Call of Duty is going to be like, they made how much money? And they don't have to change the game at all. All they got to do is change their marketplace. I think that other companies follow suit very, very, very quickly. And if you're a big franchise and you're going to launch, say you're Call of Duty or Fortnite,
or say you're Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, any of these, you're any of these companies, and you're like, hey, you know what? We want to do this too. Where do you think you're going? What blockchain are you going to go to? You're going to go to Avalanche, right? They're like, hey, it's operational.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying this for the last month and a half. That's exactly what I've been saying. Now,
and you know what? And I was doubting on you because one, a lot of times the crypto ecosystem just echoes, right? And sometimes people hype stuff up. I know, like Grit was a good example. We were like, oh man, it's Battle Royale. It's a Westerner. It looks good. It's cool. Like, but we were hyping it up, but realistically, nobody's playing it. Right?
Hasn't gotten.
Yeah, but it was hyped up because we kept seeing it everywhere, and it was in our own ecosystem. So I kind of was in that same like mindset. And then I went home, and then I went through my normal streamer channels that I used to watch all my gamers on. I used to watch a lot of these gamers, right? And then there it is. Boom, 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 boom. All of them are covering it in the same way that they cover all the other big ones. And then I downloaded the game and it's good. It's a good damn game. And I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the formula. And so about as bullish as ever on Avalanche. So to answer your question, sector that I'm buying is going to be gaming, particularly Avalanche is going to be at the top of my list as far as layer ones. I might even go as far to say that I'm more bullish on Avalanche at this moment than I am Cardano.
What? Okay.
I mean, if you take those sheer amount of transactions
Welcome to the
now
club.
on the short term for this bull market, for this immediate bull market, I'm talking about from this point to December of 2025, right? Where we're expecting to see that $150,000 Bitcoin. I think that in that time window, lined up with this game, with the amount of transactions they're about to put on chain, I think that Avalanche might be a top 5 project. And I think that it comes off of the back of that game. And I think it comes off of the back of some other studios quickly integrating NFT marketplaces into their ecosystems.
Robin, we welcome you. Thank you. We welcome. I'm also bullish on gaming, but the sector I'm super bullish on, man. I did an ICP video today, and if you're an ICP fan, video drops in about an hour and 10 minutes. Dominic Williams was in Argentina at the Tech Forum conference, gave a keynote speech, and just breakthrough stuff, man. And I cover that in depth. I'm not going to cover it on the show, but essentially, you watching at home, you can become an app developer without knowing a single line of code. So I go over that in the video.
What a good video too, man.
It was good. It was good. You guys should definitely watch it.
Like if you are a fan of ICP, like you don't want to miss that one. And that's not. And I'm genuinely not saying it as a plug for us to give views. I'm genuinely telling you because I was over here with Rocco. We were over here recording this thing, and I was glued. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I mean, as soon as you were done, I was like, Jesus, man. ICP.
You might have just bought ICP when I was done.
Yeah, man. So even if you don't like ICP, I encourage you to watch that because I think that other blockchains are going to copy what they're doing because
But are they gonna have the infrastructure?
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that it's going to be so successful, and as long as they deliver on what they're saying, which I would assume so, as long as they deliver on what they're saying, they're going to be wildly successful, and other chains are going to scramble to do what they're doing. And so watch that video, and then I'll put a Brola in the chat if you watch that video. I want to know how many of our live viewers go and watch the ICP video. Put Brola in the chat to let us know that you were there. Also, if you are new, say hello. We'd love to give you a shout out. We have a couple new faces. A lot of people are kind of quiet, but we got Boo Z. We got K Lavi. And then we got Juan V, Crypto Saiyan, Rex57, Irvin Z, and VC. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Also, Whale Slayer as well.
Whale Slayer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said that because the sector that I'm buying right now, that I've been buying, and will continue to buy, is AI, artificial intelligence. So I want to share a post from our friend Forrest, okay? Talked about virtual protocol, right? And it's essentially a platform for AI agents. And there's this AI token, it's called Luna. It's a bot. It's completely AI. It live streams, and it takes the feed of the order books, the buys and sells, and it does a live stream. And there's so much in-depth information. I was on the phone with him this morning, but this is something that if you were in the Sistine Research Discord, he was talking about this at a 900,000 market cap. It's currently sitting at over $30 million. It's called Luna. And so if you guys, if you're not in there, I'm telling you, I made a shitload of money with Forrest's stuff, and you can too. I'll drop a link in the description. I think he's doing like 20% off, 25% off. But anyways, AI is a sector I'm watching. So you have your typical AI plays, near protocol, ICP. You have ASI. You have a bunch of other ones, but get a 5x, 10x, maybe a 15x. But what are some ones that we could potentially get a 30x, a 50x, dare I say 100x? So I'm looking down, and these are some of the ones that I did a little research on. This is a while ago. And I started to kind of look back into them. So first one I'm looking at is Fala Network. So, and by the way, no one's paid me to talk about this. This is from my own research. And of course, these are very, very risky. You're at a sub $100 million market cap. It could go to zero. It can go to 100 billion. It can go to 1 billion. No one knows. But at the end of the day, if you're willing to take a little bit of risk, this is definitely something to put on your radar to dig in a little more yourself. You're looking at an $87.84 million market cap token with a circulating supply of 758 million, total supply of 1 billion. Now, this one, they brand themselves as a co-processor for AI. So you have a compute play, but I think the bigger one here is the AI agent play. I think that is going to be, I don't want to call it the new meta, but I think it's going to be a sector within AI that people really focus on. This is what Fetch AI was doing. This is what Fala Network does. This is what Virtuals Protocol is doing. And that token, that GOAT token that everyone's talking about, created by AI, it's an AI agent. That thing went from like 3 million market cap to over 700 million.
That thing was, I was doing some research on that, and very, very interesting. Well, a lot of what I'll say this, a lot of what that portfolio was a lot of people saw the address and started sending it tokens, right? They started sending meme tokens. So it had naturally drawn up, I think, like 200 million on its own personal investment. It hasn't sold anything, which is interesting. The bot is only designed at this current moment to buy and hold.
Yeah,
it is an interesting strategy. I'm sure that at some point they're going to take profit, right? I mean, the people that create
does AI need to take profit? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, so very that GOAT is pretty interesting, and I think that it signals, as you're saying, a shift into the potential to make money from AI. And you know what? If you can create a bot on a blockchain and have it trade for you, not one of these ones that are launched by, an exchange. And, I'm talking about like you start from scratch. You're like, hey, this is my buddy. This is my bot right here. This is my friend. And go make me some money.
This is my friend.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Not an application you download on someone else, and you're not copy trading in another bot. I'm just talking about a homegrown bot. And then you're like, you load that thing up with some money, and you're like, hey, attack, go get him, go. So, like that's the Italian pit bull over there. So I think it's gonna be very, very interesting. And could this spell disaster for content creators that are traders? That's another thing. 'Cause obviously we're pretty plugged in, to what everyone else is doing. Not to say that I'm a hater by any chance, but you know what? You're not gonna get the perspective and the charisma that you get from us here. But for trading signals, you might get a better signal from a bot than you will from your favorite YouTube trader. And so I'll just say, jobs will be replaced by AI. Will it knock out your?
You can always go work at McDonald's with Trump. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, Fala Network, the cool thing about this one, it's an interoperability one. So 25 blockchains that you can connect with your AI agent, including BNB, the Ethereum ecosystem, Polkadot. I believe Solana's in there as well. So again, super low market cap. It's got the compute and AI agent going for it. The second one is betting markets, okay? And the coin is Numera AI. So this one is currently sitting at $113 million market cap, 7.3 million tokens circulating with a total cap of 10.6. Max supply capped at 11. So you take a look at this one over the last year, this got to as high as over $52. Currently sitting at $15. Again, this is a bet on the betting markets. So essentially what this does is it aggregates data to predict the stock market. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but the website is numer.ai. They have some videos here you can watch. They have the signals program that came out. And so this is one I'm looking at where I'm like, okay, $100 million market cap, talking about AI and betting, which we know Polymarket, Kalshi, all of it. The betting markets will never go away. And so when you talk about something like this, pretty low cap, 100 million, I would call it more of a mid cap. But A lot of potential there. Can it get to $1 billion? Can it get a 10x? Potentially. Can it get to 10 billion and get 100x? Probably not very likely, but you never know. These things, when they catch steam, they go. And with a only a circulating supply of 7 million tokens, I think this is something to keep your eye on. But the AI sector as a whole is going to be massive. And, you know, in the Almanac, which, by the way, is coming along very well, there's an entire section dedicated to artificial intelligence, what it means, what it's going to do, what it's going to change, and the top projects that we listed in there, and some of the favorite ones that you guys might know of, and one you probably haven't seen or heard of, are going to be in that Almanac. And so it's going to be very, very interesting. That's all we got for the show today. We appreciate you watching. Make sure to catch our ICP video that comes out. Also, a big thank you to our channel sponsor yet again, BlueWireTech.com. Visit that website if you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow. Gentlemen, final thoughts?
Yes, we have a request from the public. If you can unbutton your T-shirt, please.
Well, you don't like it, fool?
They say you look like a college student.
What?
Hey, man, listen up a little bit, bro.
Isn't
I
that-
like
Take notes from your boy right here. I got
I'm
3
good.
buttons that I broke free.
I'm good.
Do it. Jimmy request. Come on, do it. He actually wants.
I'm a man of the people.
Oh,
Comes the chest hair.
finally, there we go.
Here comes the chest hair.
Stop it now. Stop now.
Going all the way down, baby.
Stop it.
You can clean a frying pan with that gristle.
That's right, baby. I'm Armenian, bro. I got a lot of hair. All right? Leave me alone.
Okay.
You know, I got a lot of hair because I'm Armenian, but I didn't get the big nose that Armenians usually get. Anyways,
let's stop right there.
majority of men grow hair, right? You're just supposed to manage it, right?
I do manage it.
You don't.
Yes, I do.
No.
You want to see?
No.
Okay. Rocco,
Yes, thank you, God, for the finger tornado today.
hair tornado. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you had fun watching us. Come back tomorrow. Watch our ICP video. We love you guys.
Put a brola in the chat if you watch the ICP video.
Brolita.
See you guys.
Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin, it's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.